I found a rare spaceship at auction. They're going to scrap it. Ilyara Voss walked through the bustling corridors of Calyx 9, a massive space station that orbited a dying gas giant in the outer rim. The station's auction hall was packed with beings from dozens of worlds. Some had tentacles, some had scales, and some, like Ilyara, were human. She always felt a little out of place here, surrounded by beings who looked down on her species for being primitive or short-lived. Yet she didn't mind. Humans had a way of surprising others, and Ilyara loved proving that point. Today, she was not just an observer. She had saved every credit she could find for months, dreaming of owning something extraordinary. Her heart beat faster as she approached the main hall where the auction was about to begin. Lot 347, the auctioneer's voice boomed through the hall. A starship of unknown origin, believed to be obsolete. Current condition, functional though neglected. Estimated value, scrap material. Shall we start at 50,000 credits? Most of the crowd laughed. Many bidders, mostly wealthy aliens, waved their tentacles or claws dismissively. A few murmured to each other, already moving on to more impressive ships. Ilyara, however, paused. There it was, a small, dust-covered spaceship tucked into the corner. Its exterior was dull, scratched, and missing panels in places. By all appearances, it was junk, but something in the energy readings she could sense from her portable scanner made her stop in her tracks. The ship hummed faintly in a way that didn't belong to normal machinery. It was subtle, almost like a heartbeat. Ilyara leaned closer. "This one," she whispered to herself, almost as if the ship could hear her. "There's something about you." The auctioneer raised his hand. "Do I have any bids at 50,000 credits?" Several voices called out, but most of them were mocking, expecting the ship to fetch nothing substantial. The human girl in the corner didn't flinch. Ilyara raised her hand. 50,500, she said, her voice steady. The hall went silent for a moment. Then an alien collector with shimmering scales smirked. "Do you think you can afford more, little human? It's a waste of your credits." Ilyara smiled faintly. "I'll see you at 60,000. Bidding went back and forth, and Ilyara felt her heart hammering. Every alien thought they were smarter, faster, more experienced. But humans had patience and creativity on their side. She studied the ship while listening to the auctioneer's chants, noting the small panels and markings most bidders ignored. They were missing what she had already felt. The ship wasn't just junk. It was something extraordinary hiding beneath a veil of dust. Finally, after what felt like hours but was only minutes, Ilyara placed her final bid. 72,000 credits, she said, her voice calm. "Sold," the auctioneer banged his gavel. To the human female, a ripple of laughter went through the hall. Many whispered that she had wasted her life savings on a worthless ship. The alien rival scowled but couldn't contest the result. Ilyara kept her composure, hiding the excitement bubbling inside. She escorted the ship to a private hangar on the station, avoiding the curious glances of other bidders. The ship's size was small but perfect for a human pilot. Its exterior was scratched and worn, but nothing that Ilyara couldn't repair. The hatch hissed open and she stepped inside. The interior was dimly lit, coated with a thin layer of dust. Old consoles lined the walls, their alien symbols unreadable at first. Panels were loose, wires hung down, and the cockpit had a faint metallic smell. Most people would have turned away, calling it a waste of time. But Ilyara knelt beside the main console and placed her hand on a central panel. The ship shivered under her touch. Lights flickered, and a soft glow emerged from hidden conduits. The display screens blinked to life, showing data streams that no human had ever seen. Ilyara's eyes widened. "This is real," she whispered. She had sensed the energy, and now she knew it was genuine. This ship was more than it seemed. Over the next few hours, Ilyara explored the ship methodically. She traced circuits, wiped off dust, and carefully examined every corner. The ship was intelligent in some way, responding to her touch, adjusting screens, and even activating sections she hadn't yet learned how to use. It was as if it could learn from her actions. Iliara paused at the cockpit's main console. Alien symbols covered the panels, but she noticed a pattern. Each symbol lit up slightly differently when she touched it. Using her intuition and human ingenuity, she began experimenting, pressing sequences, connecting wires in unusual ways, and watching the ship respond. Hours passed like minutes. The station outside went through cycles of announcements, commerce, and chatter, but Iliara was lost in a world of her own. Slowly, the ship's memory cores activated, projecting holographic images of star charts, data nodes, and schematics. She realized the ship contained long-forgotten technology, advanced starship design lost to the galaxy centuries ago, and it was waiting for someone clever enough to understand it. The night fell on Calyx 9, and the hangar lights dimmed. Iliara stood in the cockpit, staring at the holographic display. Her hands hovered over the controls, trembling with excitement. This ship, once dismissed as scrap, could change everything she knew about space travel. Yet, a small voice in her mind reminded her to be careful. Others would try to take it. The rival collectors from the auction might still attempt legal tricks or underhanded deals. The galaxy was full of beings who didn't respect human ingenuity, but Iliara smiled. Humans thrived under challenge. They were adaptable, persistent, and daring, qualities the ship seemed to recognize. She spent the next several days repairing minor systems, carefully reconnecting circuits, and analyzing energy readings. Every adjustment brought a new surprise. The ship seemed to react to her presence, glowing slightly brighter, adjusting panels, and offering hints of its capabilities. Iliara even discovered a hidden compartment containing manuals and logs left by its original creators, written in a language she could partially decipher. One afternoon, Iliara found the engine core. It pulsed with a soft blue light, unlike any technology she had seen. The energy was clean, sustainable, and incredibly efficient. With careful calculations, she realized the ship could potentially travel beyond known warp fields, possibly even reaching regions unexplored by any current civilization. Her heart raced. This was not just a starship. It was a key to discovery, a relic of a lost era, and a challenge perfectly suited to a human mind. Iliara knew she had to be cautious, but she couldn't resist testing it. She climbed into the cockpit, her hands steady on the controls. With a deep breath, she powered the ship up fully. The soft hum became a resonant song, vibrating through her body. The displays illuminated, and the ship's systems aligned perfectly with her commands, almost as if it recognized her intentions. Suddenly, a small holographic map projected in front of her. Stars, constellations, and routes she had never seen before appeared. Her pulse quickened. This was more than curiosity, it was a calling. Humans were explorers by nature, and this ship seemed designed for someone willing to think beyond limits. A warning light blinked. Iliara frowned. The station regulations forbade unauthorized jumps, and she wasn't ready to attract attention, but she made a note of coordinates. This ship held secrets, and she intended to unlock them carefully. Later, Iliara recorded her findings in her journal. "They think it's scrap," she wrote, "but this ship, it's alive. Not in the way humans are alive, but in a way that watches, adapts, and waits. It knows we can think, create, and discover. I've never seen anything like it. One day, I'll show the galaxy what humans can do." For now, she hid the ship from prying eyes, carefully maintaining its systems, learning its quirks, and preparing herself for the next phase of discovery. The auction may have laughed at her, but Iliara knew humans had a unique gift. The ability to see value where others saw nothing, to learn where others refused, and to thrive where others feared. And this ship, once forgotten and ready for scrap, had found its perfect partner. The first part of her journey had begun. Beyond the dusty hangar, beyond the judgment of aliens, the stars waited. And Iliara Voss, Human, small, underestimated, was ready to reach for them. Days passed on Calyx 9, but Iliara Voss hardly noticed the bustling crowds or the constant hum of commerce. Her world was now the dusty, quiet hangar, and the ship she had purchased, once dismissed as scrap, had become her obsession. Every hour brought a new surprise. Hidden compartments, blinking consoles and panels that responded to her touch as if they could sense her intentions. She spent hours carefully exploring the ship's interior. The layout was unlike anything in any human database. Corridors shifted slightly when she wasn't looking, and walls displayed faint holographic images that flickered like ghostly memories. The ship seemed alive, but not in a threatening way. It was curious, patient, and intelligent, traits Iliara recognized immediately. Humans, after all, were the same. She had a growing sense that the ship was testing her, seeing if she was clever enough to unlock its secrets. One morning, Iliara noticed a small, blinking panel in the rear engineering room. Most of the station would have ignored it, but she knelt down and pressed her fingers against it. The panel clicked and a hidden compartment slid open, revealing a series of holographic storage cubes. She activated one, and immediately a projection filled the room. Star charts, alien writings, and logs from a pilot long forgotten. Iliara's heart leapt. This was not just a ship. It was a repository of knowledge, a treasure trove of information about places humans had never seen. The logs described stars that no map had marked, wormholes that defied known physics, and strange energy fields. Some of the entries were technical, while others were personal, diaries of explorers who had journeyed far beyond the edge of known space. One note in particular caught Iliara's attention. The ship chooses its pilot. It learns, adapts, and tests. Only those who think differently can unlock its true potential. Iliara smiled. Humans thought differently all the time. Adaptable, unpredictable, creative, had survived where stronger or faster species had failed. She ran her fingers over the holographic display, imagining the possibilities. For the next few days, she experimented with the ship systems. Every action she took seemed to provoke a reaction from the ship. When she rerouted power to the engines, the console displayed new energy pathways she had not activated. When she adjusted the navigation system, hidden star maps appeared. It was as if the ship was learning from her choices, predicting her next move and suggesting improvements. Iliara laughed softly. Humans had always been underestimated, and now even a starship underestimated them. But she knew she had to be careful. News of her purchase had spread through the station. Rival bidders, particularly the alien collector she had narrowly beaten at the auction, had begun whispering. They were trying to find loopholes in the sale, hoping to seize the ship or declare it property of the station. Iliara spent hours consulting station records, verifying every transaction, and preparing contingency plans. She had learned long ago that humans could not always rely on strength alone. Intelligence, patience, and careful planning often mattered more. One afternoon, as she ran diagnostics on the ship's engines, the console flickered, and a new holographic interface appeared, a glowing map of unknown star systems. Iliara's eyes widened. These were not charted in any galactic registry. Some were distant, isolated systems with planets that might hold resources, life, or remnants of ancient civilizations. Her pulse quickened. This ship was a key to discovery, something humans had not had access to for centuries. She knew she had to understand it fully before anyone else could lay claim to it. Iliara began documenting everything. She translated the alien symbols as best she could and experimented with the engine core. The energy it produced was unlike anything she had seen, clean, self-sustaining, and adaptive. It adjusted itself to the ship's movements and her input, maximizing efficiency while minimizing strain. "This is incredible," she whispered. Humans could actually travel farther than anyone else with this. But it was not just about distance. The ship seemed to communicate with her, subtly guiding her experiments. If she made a mistake, the system corrected it without any warning or failure. If she tried a new idea, the ship adapted instantly, showing her the results in real time. Iliara realized she had found a true partnership, one that relied on mutual intelligence rather than force. One evening, she accessed a hidden chamber in the ship's lower deck. Inside, a series of pods lined the walls, each containing what appeared to be alien artifacts or preserved specimens. They were small, delicate, and ancient. One pod displayed a holographic recording of the ship's original pilot, a being of intelligence and grace, explaining the ship's purpose. This vessel is not merely transport. It is a guide, a learner, and a protector. It will reveal its secrets only to those worthy. Its true power is not in destruction, but in understanding, adaptation, and creativity. Iliara's heart pounded. Humans were known for creativity. They had survived hostile environments, solved impossible problems, and built civilizations despite countless obstacles. She realized that the ship had recognized this quality in her. It had chosen her because she thought differently, creatively, and persistently. Days turned into weeks. Iliara refined her understanding of the ship. She tested its engine, its adaptive navigation, and even the living quarters that seemed to adjust their layout depending on her needs. Every time she returned from a testing session, the ship seemed subtly improved, as if it had learned from her actions and optimized itself for future performance. But challenges were looming. The alien rival who had lost the auction had begun to press the station authorities, trying to claim legal rights over the ship. Bureaucratic inspections, property claims, and legal notices started piling up. Iliara was forced to defend her ownership, using careful logic, documentation, and patience. Despite the pressure, she never stopped experimenting with the ship. One night, after everyone on the station had gone to sleep, she climbed into the cockpit. The holographic displays lit up automatically, reacting to her presence. Iliara ran simulations, tweaking engine outputs, adjusting navigation paths, and testing energy flow. The ship responded with an almost playful efficiency. Panels shifted slightly, controls realigned to her hands, and a map of distant, uncharted stars appeared. She realized that the ship was not just a tool, it was a collaborator, learning from her, adapting, and offering possibilities she had not imagined. Iliara decided it was time for a small experiment. She planned a short, unauthorized jump within the station's outer orbit. It was risky, but she trusted the ship and her own calculations. The engine core glowed, the console hummed, and the ship responded instantly to her commands. With a deep breath, she activated the jump sequence. The hangar blurred, stars streaked past, and for a few seconds, Iliara felt as if she were flying through a dream. The ship adjusted itself perfectly, keeping her safe, optimizing every calculation. When the jump ended, she was exactly where she intended, orbiting a small, uncharted moon just beyond the station's sensors. Iliara laughed softly, a mix of triumph and amazement. "You're amazing," she said to the ship. "I knew humans could handle you." But she knew the real test was still ahead. The ship's full potential had not yet been revealed. There were systems she hadn't unlocked, star routes she hadn't explored, and ancient technology she could barely comprehend. Humans thrived on challenge, and Iliara felt ready. Over the next several days, she carefully planned her next moves. She studied the ship's logs, mapped uncharted routes, and prepared for longer journeys. She also kept an eye on the station authorities and the alien rival, ensuring no one would interfere. The ship, in turn, seemed to respond to her growing confidence. It adjusted living quarters for efficiency, optimized energy distribution, and even displayed strategic suggestions for future exploration. Iliara marveled at how it learned from her creativity, patience, and persistence. One evening, she accessed the ship's most hidden compartment, a small chamber deep within the engineering section. Inside, a series of alien crystals glowed faintly. When connected to the main console, they activated a holographic map of the galaxy, showing star systems humans had never charted. Some planets appeared habitable, while others were rich in resources or mysterious anomalies. Iliara's mind raced. Humans had always been explorers, but they had never had access to technology like this. With careful planning and patience, she could uncover secrets no one else had seen. She realized this was her chance to prove humanity's ingenuity. That night, as she sat in the cockpit reviewing star maps and energy data, she whispered to herself, "They laughed at me. They said I wasted my credits, but they didn't see what I saw. Humans, we never give up. We adapt, we create, and now we explore." The first part of her journey had been about discovery, but the second part was about mastery. She was learning the ship, unlocking its secrets, and proving to herself that humans could surpass expectations. And the galaxy, vast and full of unknowns, waited for her next move. Iliara Voss had spent weeks learning every detail of the ship. The once-forgotten vessel, dismissed by all as scrap, now hummed with life under her hands. She no longer saw it as a collection of circuits and panels. She saw it as a partner, a living testament to the brilliance of the beings who had built it, and now to the cleverness of humans. The hangar of Calyx 9 had grown quiet in the late hours. Most of the station's inhabitants had gone to rest or leisure, leaving Iliara alone with her ship. She had plotted a route to a distant, uncharted star system marked in the ship's hidden logs. She didn't know what she would find there, planets, phenomena, perhaps even remnants of civilizations. But she felt a thrill that only humans understood, the urge to explore, to push boundaries, to discover what no one else had. She climbed into the cockpit. The ship welcomed her. Its panels aligned precisely to her hands. The soft hum of the engine core pulsed like a heartbeat. Iliara smiled. "This is it," she whispered. "Time to see what we can do." She activated the full jump sequence. The hangar blurred, stars streaked across the viewport, and Iliara felt the subtle vibration of the ship adapting to her intentions. Unlike ordinary starships, this one did more than respond. It predicted, optimized, and adjusted. Every micro-correction was perfect. The vessel flowed through space as if it had been designed for a pilot like her. The jump ended with a gentle, precise deceleration near a strange binary star system. Two suns glowed with unusual colors, one a deep sapphire, the other a pale gold. Planets orbited silently, untouched by civilization. Iliara's breath caught. The ship's holographic systems projected the orbits and surface compositions of each planet. She chose a medium-sized world covered in forests and shallow oceans. Sensors indicated a breathable atmosphere. The ship adapted its landing gear to the terrain, gliding smoothly down to a clearing between towering trees. Iliara stepped out. The air was fresh and unpolluted, carrying scents she had never experienced. Birds or creatures that resembled them chirped above. Strange plants swayed in a gentle wind. She felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Humans had arrived where no one else had. She had unlocked the potential of forgotten technology through ingenuity, patience, and courage. Her mind wandered to those who had mocked her at the auction. They had laughed at the idea of humans owning a ship, a useless relic. And yet, here she was, on a planet no one else had ever set foot on, piloting a starship beyond the capabilities of entire fleets. Over the following days, Iliara explored the planet. The ship's adaptive technology made everything easier. It optimized landing zones, scanned flora and fauna, and recorded data with incredible precision. Iliara discovered life forms that seemed intelligent in ways humans could barely imagine. She made careful observations, documenting everything for study and for the future of humanity. As she returned to the ship one evening, she noticed a small blinking light on the console. It was a message from Calyx 9. Her rivals had escalated their efforts. They had submitted claims to the station council, trying to declare the ship property of the station and void her ownership. The message was clear. If she didn't return, the station would intervene. Iliara laughed softly, shaking her head. Humans never relied on luck alone. They relied on creativity. She activated the ship's cloaking protocol, a hidden system she had discovered during her experiments. The ship's exterior shimmered and disappeared from all sensors. Using smarter-than-expected problem-solving, she responded to the council with detailed legal documentation, proving her rightful ownership. By the time the rival collector realized what had happened, it was too late. Iliara's claim was untouchable. The ship pulsed as if acknowledging her cleverness. Iliara realized that humans were not just adaptable, they were strategic and persistent. They could survive challenges that stronger or faster beings could not. Now, free from interference, she decided it was time to push the ship's true capabilities. The logs hinted at a star system at the very edge of the galaxy, containing an energy field unknown to any civilization. According to the notes, the field could amplify the ship's systems, perhaps even reveal new modes of travel or communication. Iliara charted a course. The journey was long and required careful planning, but she trusted herself and the ship. Along the way, she ran simulations and tested the ship's adaptive responses to unforeseen events, asteroid fields, solar flares, and gravitational anomalies. The ship handled everything perfectly, often anticipating challenges before she even noticed them. It had become a partner, capable of teaching her as much as she was teaching it. After weeks of travel, they reached the outer system. A glowing field stretched across the void, shimmering with colors Iliara had never seen. Sensors went wild, displaying energy readings that exceeded known physics. She felt a thrill of excitement. Humans had always been explorers, willing to go where others feared, and now the galaxy had left a gift for those clever enough to reach it. Iliara initiated a slow approach, careful not to disturb the field. The ship's systems adjusted automatically, reading fluctuations and compensating instantly. Then, she tried something bold. She rerouted the engine's core energy into the field. The entire ship pulsed, and for a brief moment, it glowed with energy beyond comprehension. The display panels lit up with new charts, showing star routes, planets, and phenomena previously unknown to any species. Iliara's jaw dropped. The ship had unlocked a hidden layer of the galaxy, a treasure map of sorts, revealing secrets humans had never dreamed of accessing. This is amazing," she whispered, almost in disbelief. The humans who had doubted her, who had laughed at her scrap ship, could never have imagined this. But she wasn't concerned with proving them wrong anymore. She was too busy discovering the unimaginable. Iliara spent the next few days charting the field, testing energy distribution, and experimenting with propulsion systems. The ship responded perfectly to her commands, optimizing every function. Its adaptive technology worked with her mind, creating a seamless connection. She realized that humans were uniquely suited to this partnership, not just because of intelligence, but because of curiosity, creativity, and persistence. As she returned to the inner galaxy, she made a conscious decision. She would share her discoveries, but carefully. Humans needed to earn their place among other civilizations not by force, but by innovation and exploration. She began transmitting carefully coded reports to trusted scholars and engineers across human colonies, revealing insights about star systems, energy fields, and resources. Word spread quickly. Humans across the colonies celebrated her success, calling her the explorer of the lost stars. Other species began to take notice. The alien collectors who had once mocked her were forced to acknowledge human ingenuity. The message was clear: underestimate humans at your own risk. Iliara smiled as she piloted the ship back to her secret hangar. The journey had changed her. She was no longer just a scavenger. She was a pioneer, a human who had unlocked the secrets of a lost civilization and shown the galaxy the true power of her species. The ship hummed beside her, lights pulsing in quiet agreement. It had chosen her, learned from her, and adapted to her. In turn, she had respected its intelligence, unlocked its secrets, and used it wisely. Together, they had achieved something neither could have done alone, and this was only the beginning. Iliara looked out at the stars stretching endlessly beyond the station. The galaxy was vast, filled with uncharted systems, hidden phenomena, and mysteries waiting for those clever and brave enough to explore. Humans, she realized, had a unique gift, the ability to adapt, create, and persevere. That gift had taken her farther than anyone had expected, and it would take humanity even farther still. She laughed softly, the sound echoing in the empty hangar. "We may be underestimated," she said, "but humans, we never stop. We learn, we adapt, and we explore, always." The ship pulsed again, almost as if in agreement. Together, they would continue discovering the galaxy, proving that even the smallest human could achieve greatness. And the universe, vast and mysterious, would never see humans the same way again.